You know, a couple days ago, Darkseid was trending for a really stupid reason. At least a stupid reason if you're on the inside. And if you're not, it's still a stupid reason. So check this out. A couple days ago, Darkseid was trending like crazy. And the reason it was trending like crazy is because a bunch of people were convinced that Korg was Darkseid. That Korg was Darkseid. So, aside from the obvious as to why this is stupid, let's talk about who Korg is. So let's go on over here to Marvel Wiki and let's check out Korg. There you go. Now, there's a reason I'm not going into what Korg is, because it won't require that much of an explanation. Let's check out who Darkseid is, shall we? So here we are, over at the DC Wiki. Darkseid. Yeah. So, does anybody see the problem yet? There's no reason that I have to explain it any further than that. Marvel, Korg. DC, Darkseid. You know, it is amazing to me how little people know about this material. Like, comic book movies have gotten huge, but so many people have absolutely no idea what is going on. That there are two giant companies producing comic book movies. That there's DC and there's Marvel. And they have no clue at all. People see comic books and they think, comic books, saw one thing. And then, it's not just that. They do this with a lot of shit. They see video games. Video games are video games. There's no difference between them. Books are books. There's no difference between them. Comics are comics. There's no difference between them. That's bullshit. Everything in life has layers and separation. Everything. 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 See? There's boxing for sport. There's boxing for fighting. And to steal a phrase, if two people are in a boxing match and one person did not consent to said boxing match, the other person is committing a crime. Layers. There are layers. Just like there are layers and separations in Marvel and DC. But it goes deeper than that. And this is where people really get confused. They see Spider-Man. And they don't understand that Spider-Man is not actually Marvel anymore, right now. Spider-Man is Sony. So they see that Spider-Man was one guy, and then was another guy, and now is another guy, and they're confused where the storyline is. I hear this all the time, that they're like, yeah, but like, well, how come everybody didn't already know about Spider-Man? Because, like, in the first movie, he does all this stuff with the Green Goblin. That's not him. You have to explain that. You have to explain it. You have to be like, that's not the same guy. See, blah, blah, blah. And then you get the same thing, like, how come, when's the next X-Men movie coming out? Because I heard something about they're recasting people from the X-Men. Well, they are. Because the X-Men was Fox, not Marvel. So the X-Men now are Marvel, And as they come back in, they will have to be recasted, and we'll have to start new storylines because it's not the same. And we also get the same problem with stuff like The Incredible Hulk. People are asking where the next Hulk movie is. The actual Hulk movies. And people still fight over whether mutant poodles were actually canon or not. But, like, there's argument to be made one way or the other because Universal has been fine with saying, yeah, you guys can use the Hulk, but you guys can't make a Hulk movie. Okay, but yet since you reference things from the Universal films, and very obviously, one of the Universal films actually had Tony Stark in it, then now we have to ask questions like, how come Tony didn't already know about the Hulk because he was in a Hulk movie? But, see, and that confuses people. Now, people that are in it, people that know, that see the separations, know that this is Fox, this is Universal, this is Sony, this is Marvel, this is Warner Brothers, this is DC, this is Marvel. Separation. But other people really still aren't catching on to this, and it is crazy the amount of ignorance that comes into these comic book movies. You know, anybody that was looking into this fan theory, this stupid fan theory that Korg is Darkseid, did you see how quickly I disproved it? Without even having to really explain it? I did a search on Korg and was like, who is that guy? That's interesting. That's very interesting. He's part of, part of DC. Sorry. Now look, now you got me fucking doing it. No, sorry. He's part of Marvel. He's affiliated with Thor. So I look it up, and his name comes up in the Marvel Wiki. Then you look up Darkseid, and he's affiliated with things like the Justice League. Not in terms of being a good guy, you get the idea when I say affiliation. But then, guess where he comes up? He comes up in the DC Wikis. And is it really only fan knowledge that there's Marvel and DC? You imagine that would be really simple knowledge. I still have people that are asking me about how come Superman isn't in the Avengers. That's a real question that I get at work. How come Superman isn't in the Avengers? How come Spider-Man isn't in the Justice League? How come they keep using, like, the same guys for these two? How come they don't, like, cross over and trade members? It is amazing to me that once you get into fandom and you start to explore and you start to see all there is that can and is all there is offered in fandom and learning these characters and learning these rich mythologies and whatnot, there comes a time when you are a little too educated about the source material and you almost become prudish. You start becoming like a gatekeeper, and you get those people that are like, you're wrong, you don't know what you're talking about because so-and-so back in 1932, and shit like that. But then you also have this other step where you barely know anything, and yet you still are massively overeducated as compared to somebody else that doesn't even seem to know. And I'm sorry, there's a lot of them that don't even know that there's Marvel and DC and that they're not the same thing. Simple wiki search. It amazes me. It really does. It just... So anyways, this was stupid.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.